If you want to know how many repetitions are necessary to achieve hypertrophy, you've come to the right place. This is a more common question than you might think. We often see people in the gyms doing 10, 15, 20 repetitions, but these numbers can't be random. There is an ideal number of repetitions that you should do in your exercises to achieve hypertrophy ideally, and that's what you will find out in this video. To answer the question of the number of repetitions, several studies have been conducted to determine the optimal amount of repetitions that have the greatest impact on muscle hypertrophy. In a meta-analysis comparing the effects on hypertrophy of sets with higher load and lower number of repetitions versus sets with lower load and higher number of repetitions, it was found that both approaches yielded similar levels of hypertrophy. However, sets with higher load resulted in greater strength gains, while sets with higher number of repetitions led to increased muscular endurance. If you are training to increase muscle size, in other words, aiming for hypertrophy, choose a weight that allows you to reach muscular failure within the range of 8 to 12 repetitions. In other words, after your warm-up sets, which should never be taken to failure, you should select a load with which you can complete at least 8 repetitions, but no more than 12. If you can only do 6 to 7 repetitions, it means the weight is too heavy. In that case, reduce the weight for the following sets. Now, if you can do more than 12 repetitions, it indicates that the weight is too light, so you should increase it to stay within the range of 8 to 12 repetitions we mentioned earlier. It is by performing exercises within this repetition range that you will achieve hypertrophy. By challenging your muscles with an appropriate weight, you stimulate muscle growth and adaptation, leading to the desired increase in muscle size. Remember to maintain proper form and technique throughout your workouts for optimal results. Learn and practice choosing the right weight for your muscle building goals. Muscle fibers that contract quickly are more likely to grow and become stronger in response to sufficient resistance training to stimulate growth. However, these fibers fatigue quickly, which is why you cannot lift a very heavy weight too many times. Train like a bodybuilder. If you want to maximize muscle size, aim for 8 to 12 repetitions per set on average. This range provides an effective balance between challenging your muscles and promoting hypertrophy. Choose multi-joint movements such as bench press, squat, barbell row, and deadlift, as they recruit more total muscle mass compared to single joint movements. This allows you to lift heavier weights and stimulate greater muscle growth. Incorporating these compound exercises into your training routine will help you build overall strength and size. Target the muscle from various angles with high volume of sets and repetitions to stimulate growth. Incorporate exercises that target different muscle fibers and variations of the same movement to ensure comprehensive muscle development. Additionally, focus on maintaining a consistent tempo during each repetition to maximize time under tension and enhance muscle activation. Rest periods between sets should typically range from 1 to 2 minutes to allow for sufficient recovery while maintaining intensity. Adjust the rest periods based on your individual needs and the intensity of your workout. Now, if your goal is strength training, choosing a weight that allows you to perform only 8 to 12 repetitions will certainly increase muscle size and strength. However, this weight range is not ideal for strength building. To truly maximize your strength, you need to focus on lifting even heavier weights, those that you can lift for only 1 to 6 repetitions. These very heavy weights provide the necessary stimulus to grow stronger. It's the way the biggest and strongest men and women in the world train, especially powerlifters. They lift and throw superhuman weights in competitions, and you can bet they train in a similar manner. Before we continue, make sure you've liked the video and subscribed to the channel. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell to receive updates from the Fit Fix and stay in shape. Now let's talk about how many repetitions are necessary if your goal is muscular endurance. Endurance means training your muscles to function for a long period of time, which involves performing many repetitions. Individuals aiming for muscular endurance typically aim for a range of 12 to 20 repetitions. Obviously, you won't be able to lift heavy weights for more than 20 repetitions. Therefore, you'll be lifting lighter loads. In this case, you want to decrease the amount of rest between sets to 30 seconds to 1 minute. If you're a runner or cyclist, strength training with higher repetitions can also help your muscles develop more endurance. The key question is how many repetitions to perform. Most individuals don't train at high intensity all the time. Instead, they alternate periods of high intensity, heavy training with periods of low intensity to save their joints from the risk of injuries and peak at the right time for competition. They typically follow a periodized program, lasting 12 or 16 weeks, that progressively becomes heavier. The strength coach also targets fast-twitch muscle fibers. Their focus is not only on building and strengthening the muscle fibers themselves but also on training the nervous system. The rest periods between sets for the main lifts are quite long, typically 3 to 5 minutes, to allow for incomplete recovery that would hinder the subsequent sets. After the main multi-joint exercise, additional movements are included to strengthen weak links in the execution of the main lift. But not everyone wants to pursue that goal. A classic example is the marathon runner, who runs at a steady pace for over 20 kilometers, focusing on improving muscular endurance. In the gym, this translates to using lighter weight for 15 or more repetitions. Low-intensity training is typically considered aerobic exercise, as oxygen plays a crucial role in energy production. This allows you to sustain your level of activity for an extended period of time. This energy process primarily occurs in slow-twitch muscle fibers. Therefore, engaging in low-intensity, high-repetition training builds the mechanisms within the muscle cell that make it more efficient in aerobic terms. This type of training increases muscle endurance without necessarily increasing the size of the muscle itself. Highly trained aerobic athletes can perform many repetitions for long periods of time without resting. However, you typically won't see the physique of a sprinter on a marathon runner. Focusing on muscular endurance means choosing relatively light weights that can be performed for 15 to 20 repetitions or more. Most endurance sports are not gym-based, making it challenging to replicate their movements with weights. Low-weight, high-repetition multi-joint exercises for the lower body, and even Olympic lifts, can be performed to improve muscular endurance. Rest periods should be kept very short since oxygen intake and lactic acid removal should not be limiting factors during exercise. Determining the optimal number of repetitions also informs how much weight you should lift. Adding more weight allows you to perform fewer repetitions, while using lighter weight enables you to do more repetitions. It is possible to be surprised when training with a new partner who is stuck at a certain weight and repetition scheme. Let's say dumbbell bench press with 80 kilograms for 8 repetitions. If we suggest they increase to 90 kilograms, they may respond, "I can't do that." Well, yes, they can, but not for 8 repetitions. Invariably, they will handle the 90 kilograms differently. Keeping track of your numbers in a journal will help you track your repetitions and weights used. This is important because as you get stronger, you'll want to lift heavier weights within the same repetition range. Just remember to rest adequately between sets to avoid fatiguing the central nervous system too much. Now that you understand how repetitions work for each goal, watch our video where we discuss everything about testosterone, including ways to naturally increase it. Everyone knows that testosterone is an essential hormone for quality of life and especially for hypertrophy. To watch, simply click on your screen now. See you there.